It's raining again, of course. Oh. Check it out, guys. Advanced Adapters was able to get me all the adapters I need to put the TH400 on there and the Atlas. So that was awesome. Last night Jeremy came over and helped me with that. And then we shoved this motor in here, which was awesome. Everything was looking good. And then it just, everything hit me at once. Yeah, so an LS truck motor is just not supposed to fit in a Cherokee. If you remember, I cut the frame so that the headers would fit in there. Of course, if you had the right car LS motor and the right intake and the right accessories on the front of this motor and the right exhaust and the right radiator and the right brackets to mount everything up, then it might just fit. But in my case, there are so many issues. So everything is just so tight. We had to, come on, what's the deal here? We had to cut right here. Of course, I routed the fuel line right next to the header there. The steering shaft right here was not clearing the header, so we had to drop the motor down even lower, and we also had to tilt the motor slightly to the driver's side, lower on the driver's side. So that was fun. We finally got the steering shaft to clear. But then, look down here, this the Comanche's already sitting really high, like probably so high it's gonna scrape the garage door coming through. And I have zero, well, maybe a 1/4 inch of up travel. So quickly realized that I'm gonna have to change the steering around to the front instead of in the rear where it was. So that's gonna be fun. And then also realized that these slider boxes that I tacked up here temporarily are at the wrong angle. So that's fun. I forget why we needed to move those. For some reason they have to come up more like this. And then, of course, the tire is gonna hit here. And then this morning, I just put the gearbox in here just to check. And check out the clearances right here. So here's the power steering pump, and here's the gearbox. And of course, this shaft has to go on there, so that's not gonna work. And then this hose has to come out of here, and I can barely even get my finger through there, so that's not gonna work. So, oh man, we had more issues than we have. We've got more things going wrong than we've got more things going right at this point. So it looks like I'm gonna have to move this gearbox forward. I'll have to get a new pitman arm, of course. Right now the pitman arm is up into the power steering. Even once I do that, I'm still not sure how it's gonna clear the motor right here with this, because this will have to come up, you know, through here somewhere. Actually, right now, technically, it would be right about here, which isn't gonna work. So I'm probably gonna have to move the power steering box out front quite a ways. Oh man. So if I don't make much video now until then, that's the problem. It was also tough just getting this motor to clear. Of course, this is the truck version, which, you know, I could have got the correct LS, I could have got the correct intake and the correct headers, but that wasn't the point of this project. The point of this project was just to take all that stuff from the Comanche, from the CJ, and slap it in here as quick and fast as possible. So I'm gonna get back to work. If I find anything interesting, I will let you know. So at this point, I'm really bummed out that things aren't working out the way I expected them to. But I guess the next step, the only thing I can think to do is mount the engine. There's not too many ways to mount it, so instead of trying to worry about the steering right now and all that, I'll just mount the engine and try to figure that out later. I also forgot to mention that the radiator that came with the CJ, I was planning on using that, but it's not going to work either. So lots of problems, but one thing I wanted to show you is this guy right here will actually come off. Did you guys know that? So you just take a pipe wrench, put it on there, break it free, and then you can rotate it out of there. I'm going to remove this because I won't be needing it anymore, this whole tower. And then I'm going to make some sort of bracket that comes off of here, off of this quarter plate that I made, and goes over to the motor mount. Mount this side, and then I'll do the other side, of course. And then the motor will be in place, and then I'll have to, of course, make a transmission mount. That'll probably go with the skid plate. And then I'll have to worry about the steering. Oh, and I remember why these slider boxes weren't going to work like that. Of course, this is just temporary mock-up. I haven't welded it up or anything yet, which is good. But the slider boxes that are at the perfect angle for the Jeep and everything, and these slide down and out as they come out. But the problem is, once I got the weight in here, you can see that it's already bottoming out right there. So that means that it would limit the up travel and be a really rough ride if I don't get that angled up more so that this doesn't bottom out right here. I could also move the springs out, or move the axle out, I guess, a little bit, which would help. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to move the axle much further forward. What else could I have done? Raised the whole thing up, I guess, but that would lower the Jeep. So instead, I'm just going to have to pivot that forward to get more room in here. Yay, I just found another issue. So I grabbed the shocks, extended them out half length to where they need to be. And then when you put that one down here, I was doing this so I could kind of make sure it wasn't going to hit the mount that I'm making for the motor. But when you do that, holy smokes, look at that. It needs to mount that high somewhere, so that's going to be fun. Looks like I'm going to have to go through where the spring used to go, cut a hole through there, and then make some sort of shock tower up in here somewhere, which I have the room. It's just one more thing that I didn't want to have to deal with. I was hoping I could just mount it to the bottom of that, but that ain't gonna happen. And you need that shock length so that you'll have enough droop and up travel, of course. So, yay!